Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, people. So, Anthony Joshua, April 1st, his opponent. So, during the week, there was reports that it was likely to be Dempsey McKean, the Australian heavyweight who's 22-0. Now, it's being reported that at the time it was reported he was one of the front runners. Now it's actually being reported that it's likely he won't be facing him. So, Dempsey McKean, no. Now, I was kind of like, well, when I was thinking of that fight, I was like, well, he's fought in the zone before. Undefeated southpaw, another southpaw, but undefeated nevertheless. Dempsey McKean looked absolutely nothing special, so I kind of thought, okay, might not be a bad opponent to come back against. But now we're hearing reports that it may actually be Jermaine Franklin. Now, Jermaine Franklin obviously lost to Dillian Whyte back there at the end of November. So I was kind of thinking about that, and it's reported that he is a front runner. So it looks likely it could be him. Now, Franklin against Whyte. You know, Franklin, when I was looking and previewing that fight, I was looking at some of Franklin's previous performances. Now, he had been pretty inactive since 2019. I think he only fought once in 2021 and maybe once in 2022. There wasn't much activity from him. But you looked at him prior to 2020 and he didn't set the world alight, let's put it like that. But you could see that he had a bit of speed. You could see he had, a decent right hand, not much punching power there, but you could see there was a little bit of ability there with Jermaine Franklin. You could see that his hand speed wasn't bad, his footwork wasn't terrible or anything like that. He seemed to actually have quite good feet, and there was ability there. But the issue with him was the weight. I think when he went back to, I think when he had his first fight in 2021, he was like 270, and for Dillian Whyte, he was still a bit heavy. But in the Dillian Whyte fight, he showed that he was able to buzz Whyte. He took his shots pretty well, so he's definitely got decent whiskers. But I think it was more the gas tank that let him down in that fight, which is, again, I don't know if that was Franklin performing beyond our expectations or Dillian Whyte performing subpar. I think it was probably a bit of both, really, when you look at it. So he didn't do himself any, I don't want to say comfort of glory, but he didn't do himself a disservice in defeat. It was a very close fight, very even fight, could have went either way. So for him to go in with Joshua, again, comeback fight, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I know myself it's still going to be on pay-per-view it'd definitely be on pay-per-view. Is it a pay-per-view worthy fight? No, but these fighters want to get paid, and the promoters want to recoup the money, as do the networks. So unfortunately, it probably will be on pay-per-view. If in fact, whoever Joshua's fighting, whether it be Jermaine Franklin, whether it be Luis Ortiz, whether it be Chris Arreola, it's going on pay-per-view. There's no kind of will it, won't it. No, lads, it's the reality is it's going on pay-per-view. There's no ifs or buts there, unfortunately. If it was Jermaine Franklin, I would be picking Joshua to win by knockout. I think he's a better puncher. He's more accurate than Dillian Whyte. He's a better combination puncher. Dillian Whyte didn't look. There was moments in the fight where he looked good, but there was other moments where he just looked so shaky. He really did. Franklin, the hand speed might trouble Joshua a little bit early on, but I think that Joshua, he's just a much, much better fighter than Dillian Whyte, even now. And he should have no trouble getting in. Depends how good Franklin's chin really is. I'm sure Franklin will take a few shots from Joshua before going down, but I see this as a fairly easy enough demolition job. I think with Jermaine Franklin, I think early on in his career, he was in the 230s or 220s, very early on, or he was a lot lighter. And I think Jermaine Franklin, if he was a lighter fighter, he could be, I'm not going to say he'd be, a world champion or anything like that, but he could definitely, he definitely could go a few levels above where I think he is. I think the weight is holding him back. I think he's too heavy. So him against AJ, if he's any the kind of weight he was against Dillian Whyte, should be a fairly routine run out for Joshua, get a nice knockout, and then obviously Eddie Hearn is trying to do him versus Dillian Whyte in the summer. I'm assuming he wants to put that on in the stadium, hence the reason wait until the summer and not now. So there you go. There could be 2 knockouts and 2 fights for Joshua, both of them pretty early on, and I think that will help build his confidence. I think he needs that. He needs he does look. I'm not in his team or anything like that. I'm not. But if I was matchmaking, I would give him easy fight 1, easy fight 2, maybe even an easy fight 3, just to get his confidence back up. He doesn't need to be going in there with guys who are going to be tricky, awkward, and maybe would make people ask more questions about Joshua after. I think he needs a rebuild, and just let's see how he goes. I hope, as I said with Jamie, that this move to Derek James is a permanent one, and he's not going to have one camp with him and then up sticks and go to someone else, because I think Derek James could do good things with Joshua. So Jermaine Franklin as the front runner. Again, I would think Joshua would win that fight reasonably comfy. Probably. I say probably Franklin would get out of the early rounds, but I'm talking probably between rounds 4 to 7. We were looking at AJ getting Jermaine Franklin out of there, I would imagine. Franklin, he is open to be getting hit. His defense is not amazing. So Joshua throws good punches and combinations, very good uppercut. I think he'd make fairly light work of Jermaine Franklin, truth be told. And then obviously he'd be fighting Dylan White then come the summer. So yeah, back-to-back fights for Joshua where I think he has a chance to get some pretty good knockouts. So look, we'll wait and see. Let's see who they announce. And if it is Franklin, I think the Franklin one, I don't know, would it be a harder sell than someone undefeated? Because I think Franklin, he fought Dylan White in November, so that fight will still be known to the public. A lot of people felt that Franklin won the fight as well. So for them, Zone might look at it and say it's actually an easier sell because no one knows Dempsey McKean is. Yeah, he's undefeated, but no one knows who he is. Whereas Franklin, he fought Dylan White last fight. The public would be like, oh yeah, oh okay, yeah, and he looked good in that. Okay, that might be a tough fight for Joshua. So there you go. With regards to Zone, I seen someone write on Twitter that the Zone still don't have. They're still not in pubs and bars and stuff like that. Oh man, if they're doing a Joshua pay-per-views, they're going to need to sort that out. Because Joshua, Fury, in my opinion, is number 1 now in the UK in terms of fan base. We see that. He's going to generate the numbers on pay-per-view. I know the Chisora fight, but for the price it was, 500k I wasn't expecting that. He's doing stadiums. He's the bigger name now in the UK, and he is the better fighter. Let's not beat around the bush here. But Joshua still has a fan base. Joshua's not a lot of Joshua's fans, to be fair, right? They were glory seekers, and a lot of them did go off after the Ruiz loss, and I think a lot of them have really gone now. But they're the fans who, a few seasons ago they were Chelsea fans, then they were City fans, then they were Liverpool fans, they were City fans again last season, and now they have an Arsenal flag in one hand and a City flag in the other. That's the kind of fans Anthony Joshua had at the start. They just follow whoever's winning. They just follow whoever's winning. Whereas I think he still has a good lot of fans who are sticking by him just because they're fans. So a lot of people would tune in to watch his fights. A lot of people would buy the pay-per-view, but it needs to be shown in pubs, in my opinion. If the Zone can get into pubs, and I think, because you see, the thing about the Zone is, right, it's not the most. It's fine if you're using it on Android or smart or iPhone. That's fine. But there are certain TVs that you actually physically cannot get the Zone app on. That's a problem. Like, for example, my bedroom, I have the Zone on the TV there, and it's a Sony. No issue, no problem. TV in my living room is a Toshiba. You cannot get the Zone on that. You cannot get it. Even if you go on Internet Explorer, it does not go for this. I don't know what it is with Toshibas, but you cannot get the Zone on it. That's a problem. The fact that some TVs, you actually can't get the app. And, say for argument's sake, you're in a pub, and I know a lot of them don't tend to have smart TVs, but that's even more a problem, because then you'd have to hook it up to I know it can be a bit messy, but if they could get it in pubs and clubs, big difference. Now, if that's true, I still don't think they are actually in a lot of pubs and clubs. Certainly, I haven't heard any announcements of it, so we'll wait and see, but I think they need to do that. That would help big time. That would help big time, I think. Because at least then people would say, this is the app he's fighting on. Oh, I'll download it and I'll sign up. It's £7 a month, or £8 a month, I think it is. It's not much. I'll buy that. So that's what I think they'll need to do for Joshua. But in terms of this fight, long-winded one, Yeah, I've got no issue with it. As I said, it's a comeback fight. If it is Franklin, so be it. It's a comeback fight. Why would I? Again, it's not like they're trying to pass, a tomato can as a world level. And that's not to say Franklin is a tomato can. He's not. But it's not like they're coming around saying, straight back in, world level. This guy is like, they're not going to do that. They're not doing that. It's a comeback. I know that. And you come back after 2 losses and a mental breakdown in the ring. I mean, yeah, go in there, get your confidence back. Go for it. I know it's going to be on pay-per-view, which is not nice, but I understand it, but still, doesn't make it any nicer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button, of course, as always, if you could. For now, I'll leave you with that. Hope you enjoyed it, people. Peace.